And they said that the only president that ever every president that ever stood up to this is no longer with us before he was not supposed to be no longer with us. And only one that made it through was Thomas Jefferson.
Really? That early?
Yes.
Like they were pulling those shenanigans?
Thomas Jefferson's the only one that didn't. They tried to kill him a few times. But, you know, back in the day, they didn't have, you know, laser beams.
Yeah, you had to hope he was going to sip the arsenic tea that you left by his bedside.
You had to sneak your musket in and blow his face off. Right. You got to wait till he's at Broadway watching this shitty show with his wife and hit him right in the head. And I guess...
You're opening the right curtain to shoot him.
Hoping that musket ball took his face off. And he didn't, he's the only one that stood up against it that didn't.
I didn't even know they tried to kill Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah,
I had no clue.
a few times.
Yeah. Do you know of any of the plots that went wrong?
Fuck no. I'm repeating shit like a parrot. I gotta go find out.
Black slave girl with a bear trap in her pussy or some shit.
Yeah, but that's what we all do is we just turn into parrots. You read one political book.
And I'm a parrot.
Next thing you think you know everything.
But I'm just repeating what I say. It's just, I believe it, though. I just believe it because we're living in that time. And the actual thing is what they've trying to unfold has been since World War I is a one world thing.
Yeah.
The last bit of it is I think China, because they're trying to get, you know, they cancel Europe. The EU, there's no borders.
Yeah.
But they signed a thing called the North American Union, and there's no borders here either. Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. It's borderless. That's why no one's talking about immigration and sneaking across the border, because they want one big thing, so that they can control one big thing. They're canceling all this horse shit.
One World Bank.
One World Bank. To make one world, you know.
Well, that would be
they did it to Africa. Africa was the first one they did it to. Yeah, cancel all these funky African countries. We need one Africa.
Those borders were changing every week anyway.
Fuck all that. EU, and then China, and I don't think China's involved quite yet, but they're the next one that we got to figure out.
Well, that story came out how China's they're getting a little edgy about how much money we owe them. Because they are in possession of a lot of our dollars, and if something happens to our dollars, they're shit out of luck. So they're starting to say, "Hey, we need a little security here. Yeah. What you need something to back this shit up."
How much?
Yeah,
$787 billion.
Yeah. How can you back this shit up? It's just paper to us.
$5 trillion.
Yeah,
that's missing.
It's a lot of fucking massive firecrackers
coming out of your kid's asshole. Every time you get a motherfucker, every time you have a baby, that's a little cash register for the...
the best part of the Obama deception was going through all the stuff Obama said during his campaign.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to get everybody out of Iraq, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then they're showing, unfortunately, in the movie...
Essentially is and Rahm Emanuel said it in the movie, he goes, look, eventually, America, being an American is not a privilege. It is it's not a right, it's a privilege. Mm-hmm. And you are to service. They use this word service. They use New World Order and service.
Service.
A lot. Mm-mm. Service. You are to service this country. And they're trying to implement that kids from 18 to 25 be required to service the country. Required. No one. They don't get into what the service is. But basically, according to this film, that they are trying to. They need more police. So they're trying to create a civilian army for when the shit goes down and there's martial law. They need people, and not everybody is going to come in and go, "Hey, I volunteer." So they're going to have service, and what they're doing, the first phase, is to cancel the Second Amendment.
Right.
So that there's only the fucking police running around with guns. People can't have guns to protect themselves. They have to take away that shit so that they can go find out who's registered. And there'll be criminals with them, but criminals will end up being our friend if this goes down.
That's always been the way, any kind of fascist state has worked. They take away the civilians.
They use that fucking term a couple of times.
Yeah.
Shit is fascism.
And that's one of the biggies as far as the NRA goes. They're saying all this stuff like this. This is what goes down. Usually when there's a gun law that's passed, if you're grandfathered in, you're fine. Let's say you have a rifle that's considered an assault rifle, and then they ban assault rifles. They don't come to your door for the most part and take your weapons away. They did that in a few places where they outlawed handguns, like in Chicago and stuff, where you had to take your pistol and hand it into the police department. But for the most part, they haven't knocked on your door and said, we're coming for your guns. But that is something that is definitely a potential act under Obama and this attorney general. They've got a lot of anti-gun people in there, anti-Second Amendment people.
That if they're going to take the guns, and again, according to this film,
the film,
that they want to take the phase one is to take these. Phase two is to slowly implement service. And Rahm Emanuel's sitting there saying it. Slowly implement service. And they don't say nothing else but fucking service.
So there's this youth army that kind of...
Nigga! What the... Like,
that's just kind of... What? And their job will be to keep the people from fucking saying fuck you.
When they go, all right, everybody, listen, here's what we need to do. We're just going to take your money and we're going to just outright come in here with this Viva Vendetta kind of thing, with this what's the other movie that's like V, like where these fucking movies with this They Live kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
When they come in and they just lower the boom and say, here's our plan, but it's too late for you to do anything stupid. They're gonna have motherfuckers, making sure that they'll shoot a motherfucker in the face.
Service.
Service. As soon as you go, wait a minute, JP Morgan Chase, I want my money. And they'll have somebody in that motherfucker to blow your face off.
We're sorry about that.
Yeah.
Go to your home that you can't afford.
Fast forward to why Obama was picked. This movie saying he was groomed for 30 years.
Yes, according to this film. Because the globalization has a different face. It ain't white no more. If you want to go global, most global is not white. It's just Australia and England and America. It's full of white people. But everybody else, he's there to make everybody else feel like they're possibly a part of this globalization.
Danny just ruined the whole little world of intrigue through this movie for me by telling me it is produced by the same guy that produced Loose Change, which I see.
Wait, his name is Alex Jones? Did Alex Jones do Loose Change?
One of the biggest hunks of shit, fake propaganda bullshit.
I believed in, he did Endgame too. And look, the propaganda, you could believe if Rush Limbaugh does a well done documentary. Yeah, I'm sure you go whoa. You could go whoa, and you lean towards what you believe. The 9/11 thing, according to the other movie, the Endgame, not Endgame, Zeitgeist. Yeah. About 9/11 is this, and again, forget 9/11 in terms of what actually what happened. Yeah. I'm talking about the background of it. World War I, we could not get involved in World War I. America would not want to get involved. No one supported World War I, us being in World War I. Yeah, Europe's problem. They have this conversation, allegedly, but it's supposed to be on record. Oh, yeah, this is like something that's known. Some dude talked to another dude and said, listen, we can't get in the war. And he goes, what if an ocean liner with a bunch of Americans on it fucking sunk?
Torpedoed or something.
Why'd that happen? What do you think? Well, I think that America probably have to get involved. Boom! Boom! What is it, the Lusitania? Yep. And we in. World War II did not want to get into the war. Wouldn't get into it. FDR, is it for FDR? Yeah. He started to allegedly provoke Japan into fucking with us. We embargoed them. We stopped trading with them.
Weren't giving them the steel they needed. We started
threatening them on the side, like giving China some shit and going, giving China money and help and going, fuck those motherfucking Japs. I don't like sushi anyway, bitch. Australia tells America 3 days before, according to this film, that, you know, hey, these motherfuckers are getting together, quite a large force in the Pacific, man. They are, and they're heading towards Hawaii. Huh? What? Huh?
What?
Huh? What? Sweetie, make me some muffins. Boom!
There were a few
We
booms
in the war,
in that one.
and this bank needs this to happen so that we can support all sides. All sides. I mean, they had this thing where, you know, the Roosevelts had a company that was involved with the company that was making Cyclone B and all that shit, and they couldn't make Cyclone B, or they couldn't make something that FDR's company had patented. They was lending them money to do that, and then they gave them $20 million for this and that and this, and then all on interest. They were lending us money to fight our war. We were lending ourselves money to fight our war on interest. Fast forward to Vietnam. Known. The reason we got into Vietnam was an attack on a ship that was a fucking lie.
The Gulf of Tonkin, yeah.
A fucking lie. Here's what bothers me. How can you, there's things that you move on to, right? How do I move on to the Gulf of Tonkin without really talking about the Lusitania, like, how do you go to the next fucking thing? And why don't you go, wait, no, let's keep talking about the fact that we may have sunk a ship with people on it. Can we talk about that? No, we just keep moving. Fast forward to the Gulf of Tonkin. A lie. Now, it's officially a fucking lie in history. It's not an argument. It's not Illuminati. It's a goddamn lie. But we fought it anyway. It's a part of history, and we go, we fought it. Fast forward to 9/11. Look, whether you go, you know, there's some things, okay, hey, we argue back and forth. I'm going with the climate of wanting to go to war for some shit, can't go to war, and need an event big enough
to go to war.
Now, we can argue the